Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson, and I'm so grateful for you tuning in with me today. You know, we talk a lot about all kinds of aspects of health and fitness, but at the end of the day, none of it matters if we're not going to actually do it. All right, it really boils down to what's going on in our inner game, right? So that inner dialogue and the motivation behind it, and also transforming that into inspiration, you know, something that's a catalyst from within. And the best motivation in the world can help you to tap into that. And that's what I have for you today. Now, before we get to our topic and our special guest, I want to give a quick shout out to greens. All right, listen, greens are so important. The green family of the plant kingdom. And here's why. All right, we have something called hemoglobin. It's about 35% of our blood construct, but 95% of the dry weight of our blood construct. All right, now, hemoglobin is the transport system for oxygen to get everywhere it needs to go in your body. And oxygen is your number one nutrient. All right, even more important than water is air. All right, and oxygen is incredibly important. So getting the oxygen where it needs to be, hemoglobin is the catalyst. Now, if you look at plants and what's going on specifically with green plants, it has a blood similar to ours. So hemoglobin is a part of our red blood cells, right? The plant blood is green, chlorophyll. And guess what? It's literally the same. The plant blood and human blood, except that center molecule. It's built around, for us, it's built around iron. For the plant blood is built around magnesium. Right? That's the only difference. And this is why utilizing high concentrations of chlorophyll can actually help to build your blood. It can help to improve detoxification, circulation, and increase the number of red blood cells that you actually have in your body. So it's really, really powerful and important. So, but we want to get the best sources, not just any random, like I'm going to eat a piece of grass, all right? We're not designed that way. What have we been using for the greatest amount of time? We got some documentation on what's effective. How about the highest chlorophyll food that we know about, which is chlorella, right? Chlorella, chlorophyll. And chlorella is going to be found in Organifi. All right, chlorella is also clinically proven. There's something called chlorella growth factor that's found to help your body eliminate heavy metals. All right, so we can get the good stuff in, eliminate the stuff that's not supposed to be there. All right, and that's just one of the green superfoods that are in this green juice blend with Organifi. They also have spirulina, moringa. It's just powerful. It's a powerful blood builder. All right, this is another reason why I want you to make sure you're getting on Organifi on a daily basis. All right, let's go. So head over to Organifi.com/model. That's ORGANIFI.com/model. You get 20% off your entire purchase every time. All right, it's exclusive, so make sure to head over and check them out. And on that note, let's get to the iTunes Review of the Week.
Another 5-star review titled Inspirational, Motivating, and Comforting by the New Age Doc. In my greatest time of mental, physical, and emotional need, this show has given me the tools to continue to strive on and break through all of my current obstacles. Share this show with as many people as possible. This show is all about the truth. A huge thanks goes out to Shawn and his team. You guys are incredible human beings. Keep on doing what you guys do best.
All right, thank you so much for leaving me that review. I truly, truly appreciate it. And everybody, make sure to pop over to iTunes and leave that review if you've yet to do so. It really, really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. And on that note, let's get to our topic of the day and our special guest. Our guest today is the one and only Dr. Eric Thomas. And, you know, we have the great fortune of being here together. I'm at his crib. We got the impromptu gym back here behind us, the ambiance. And man,
let me give me at least 5-6 more years, you know?
Right there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share a little bit of his bio, but also listen, my wife and my kids are here. My wife was just sharing with E that, you know, I actually found out about E through her. And, you know, she's been, and this is a little fun fact, I've shared this before on the show, I met her in the gym. But she was tricking me. She was trying to get in shape for a trip she was going on in college, and I was in college at the same time. And that was about it, man, for about 10 years.
Wow.
And until she started listening to you, and it just really motivated her to get on her game, man. Now, like, she pushes me.
Wow,
you know,
that's
it's like
that's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
You know, you have the ability to really reach into people's soul and get them activated. You know, I truly believe that. So, Eric Thomas, PhD, critically acclaimed author, world-renowned speaker, educator, pastor, Audible.com Audio Awards finalist. And E.T., as he's better known, is taking the world by storm. His creative style, high energy messages, his words continue to impact the lives of tens of millions. I say at least 100 million at this point, probably more, being the #1 motivational speaker in the world. Through a significant social media presence as well. Make sure you follow E on social media. You're gonna love his stuff, man. Love it, love it, love it. He's also known as E.T. the hip hop preacher and has become a global phenomenon. And he's a CEO of a consulting firm, ETA LLC. And he's led his team through the doors of dozens of reputable organizations, Fortune 500 companies. So he's the guy they call in to share, to teach and train their employees. General Electric, Quicken Loans, AT&T, Nike, Under Armour, New Balance, UPS, and also works with the NFL, major universities, NBA, Major League Soccer as well. I know you was into that as well.
I did a couple voiceovers for him.
That's tight. Yeah. And Major League Baseball, so he's your favorite speaker's favorite speaker. He's the greatest in the game, and I'm just really grateful to have you on the show, man. Welcome to the show again.
Favorite speaker. I love it. I like that. Yeah, praise
back,
God. Man, good to be Good to be home.
Yeah,
it's good to be home, man. You do shows, and I don't do a lot of them, and then you do it with people who you have a relationship with, so it makes it a lot easier. I don't have to think.
No doubt. So, you being one of the greatest speakers that's walked the planet, orator, and a motivator. I want to know what motivates you, man. So what's for you? What's the motivation to do what you do each day?
It's a lot of stuff, but I'd say right now, because Jalen's finished with school, Jada's murdering the game in terms of completing school, Didi's retired or whatever. Now, man, it's literally, to have the opportunity to do what you've seen your icons do. To see what Mother Teresa did, like how she changed lives, to see how Martin Luther King changed lives. It's like, yo, E, you are in that space, definitely not on their level, but like a LeBron who has the potential, of being the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It's like LeBron has an opportunity, you talk about Michael Jordan, and I always do the Mike is better thing. But the reality is LeBron's still playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron hasn't, written his history yet. Like, it's still.
He's only 33. He turned 33.
And I think Jordan stopped at 40. So LeBron got at least 7 more years to try to, I don't know what to try to do. I mean, other than win 3 more championships. But I'm saying in terms of stats, he's done it all. And while I'm not on LeBron's level, when it comes to sports or whatever, I'm just saying that to say, like, I'm in a space where, like you said, millions of people are listening. People are being inspired, and everyday people, are taking their lives to a whole other level because of the words, that we put together. So to me, that's what inspires me, man. Is like I legitimately, and I don't say the Nobel Prize because I covet that, but to me, LeBron trying to win 3 more championships. You got Brady is going after, the Lombardi, whatever. So for me, like in my realm, I see the Nobel Prize as that tangible evidence that I'm changing the world, so that's what inspires me. I can help schools, I can help I'm literally helping people to do what they dream of doing and just giving them that push, to take, like you said, I just talked to your wife for the first time and she's like, I'm working out. And so to me, I didn't even hear work out. I heard, her family is together, like her and her husband are on one accord. That's what I heard. I didn't really get caught up in the, what she's eating and working out. I'm just like, you got 2 humans on one accord. You got a family. And if a family's strong, then our country is going to be stronger. So that's kind of what's pumping me up and getting me motivated right now.
That's powerful, man, because it starts with that micro level, and I think we forget that. We try to make these big changes, It's still important, of course, to, get out and do the picket thing and make a stand, but also we need to work on the micro level. Absolutely. Because I really feel that, hurt people. Yeah. And how can we create healing? How can we create conditions where we have more healthy, sovereign, compassionate humans that were developed in the first place, So I want to know, when did you realize that this is what you wanted to do? When did you realize that you have a gift or a drive to want to be able to speak to people?
It was college. I remember doing my first presentation. Pimping ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. That was my first signature speech.
You heard it here.
You know
Come on.
That was my first signature speech, just coming from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff that I was exposed to. So when I became, an orator, I drew from, my experiences. But it was more so saying, that there's this evil force, there's all this negativity, and people are being led by that negativity. It's like almost where you don't have control, you being pimped, you know what I'm saying? And you need to take control of your own life, And so it was weird because cats who didn't go to chapel service in college, didn't go hear motivational speakers, they would come hear me and be like, yo, E, I don't even do that. I don't even get into that kind of stuff. I grew up in church or I grew up hearing speaking, bro, I'm tired of it, but I would speak and it was a cool thing. They wouldn't come all the way, you know what I'm saying? But they would kind of be, because I would do it outside. So they would be in a distance, listening, and they would see me later yo, E, I'm too cool to be seen in that kind of environment. But, bro, what you said changed me. It was there I knew I got something different. I'm going to be honest, though, Shawn, you know how it is. It wasn't necessarily popular back then. It was underground. The underground cats loved it, but it wasn't faculty and staff, and older people embrace. My second speech was, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a sucker? You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't the older community embraced the hat, in the gym shoes, but I knew I had something because the younger generation, people who didn't necessarily feel that, were feeling my stuff. And I was like, yo, I think I got something. Then I ended up taking it to the community. I started doing a GED program. So a lot of young ladies who got kicked out of school because it wasn't popular to have babies back then. So they got kicked out. They would come to my program and love my little 15-minute thing I do before we start class. And then the drug dealers were all who dropped out. All of them came to my program. And it was one of those things where it was yo, E, I was the man. I remember, and I'm not bragging, but I would get speeding tickets, or one time I didn't have my license and I got picked up. And every time I go to jail, bro, I don't know how they would find out, but they would bail me out. You know what I'm saying? It's yo, E in jail, y'all, and they come get me out, pay the ticket or whatever. Like I said, I'm not saying that was cool for me to get tickets and do that, but I was 19, 20, it just wasn't where I am now in terms of maturity. And when they would come bail me out, I knew they're endeared to me. They love what I do for them. And I was like, yo, E, you own to something, and you just need to keep doing this and perfect it.
Man, that's powerful. That's exactly what I want to talk about next, is perfecting it. Because I know there's thousands of people listening right now, and everybody has a dharma, a path. And there's probably something that you're interested in doing. And even if you're working on giving yourself permission to actually do the thing that you love, as far as giving your gift, there's a difference between being average and being great. There's a difference between being average and being phenomenal. And so I want to know, for you, what can people do, and what did you do to take yourself from, I'm pretty good at this, to being world class? What does it take to do that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's three components. I think the first one is you want to get your credit up in whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I think, Shawn, if you and I both sat here and talked about health, you'd blow me out the water. You know what I'm saying? And not just the information, but you've been doing it in terms of the physical, working out for years. You also had an ailment that, that you studied and was I got to get through this. You actually helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people do it. So there's a credibility that you have because you've become one with what you're doing. Where somebody who read a book and then say it, it's that's good information, but some kind of way it's not coming across the right way. So I think the first thing you need to do is literally live what you're talking about. And I think a lot of people, I hear people, Shawn, how to make $1 million. I'm like, bro, you in debt. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean how to make $1 million? What does that mean? You making that up. You don't really believe that, or you haven't lived it. So I think one, the lived experience is always the best one. Number two, I did it every day, every single day. I was either teaching a GD class or I was going to the hospitals and speaking, just whatever, not necessarily in front of people, but like I said, my GD class, church, I would get an opportunity, go speak to elementary school, go and serve at a shelter, and not necessarily in front of everybody, but I'm one-on-one with this person and I'm perfecting, my skill. And then the last one, which I think is the biggest challenge, people do what they do outside of the people they're doing it for. It's the weirdest thing. It's like people self-proclaim, like, I'm a great speaker. Who told you you were great? Like, was it the people that you were talking to? Did they tell you were great? Or did you just make up in your own mind you're great? And so I spend a lot of time, what do the people want to hear? What are their challenges? What are they going through? So when you see me at a Michigan State still, when you still see me at a prison or at a shelter, I'm doing that because I need to know the pulse of the people that I'm talking to. And there are a lot of people they do it shine outside of the people that they're doing it for. And that's one of the things I appreciate about you when I was talking to you about my wife's health. It was okay, E, let's talk about not some just, all right, E, MS. It's like, oh, okay, what's your wife, what's Dee Dee going through right now? What is she experiencing? Because there'll be people who talk to me about MS, and I'm like, yo, my wife not in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking to me like my wife, like, and I know people who are, but like, you're talking to me like my wife is in a wheelchair. Like, you have not gotten to know my wife yet. So you're giving me some information not based on what she's really going through right now. So we need to talk about and I just think a lot of people, when they do their work, Shawn, they don't care about the people that they're actually working for. They're so consumed with the work itself and speaking that it's like, yo, it's so easy for me to do what I do because I spend 30, 40 hours with people. And then when I talk, I only talk about what they told me they wanted to hear. So I think if you do those three things, that's going to help you to get to that next level.
You know what? You just pointed out something really important. I think that questions are the answer in many aspects, and that's right. I started asking questions first to see how can I serve instead of like, here's my thing, right? And if people would do that more often, no matter what line of work you're interested in, that's how you're really gonna get. You don't waste a lot of time. I think because we're so short on time, we think if I just give my thing and do my service, that I'm gonna actually save time, but it's the opposite. It takes longer to figure it out instead of just actually asking questions and paying attention. Now, I want to ask you about something else important because I know that you've met a lot of opposition in this path and a lot of opposition in your growth. And it's not in the form necessarily of people or whatever the case might be, but there's going to be things that come up as barriers on your path to greatness. So let's talk about what, again, average versus phenomenal. When people are met with opposition, what do you do? What do you do if you're average, and what do you do if you're phenomenal?
I think if you're average, you play into the situation, you know what I'm saying? So like, let's say it's perceived as negative. Like you go there, you go with, oh, he hating on me or she hating on me. I'll give you a prime example. When I was average, I saw my wife's treatment of my gift as opposition. Like, yo, she ain't supporting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm out here speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I speak, she critiquing me. She never said nothing positive about my presentation. Like every time I get off stage, if it's the best that I thought I ever did, she like, well, you should have done this. You shouldn't have said that. Like, come on, you know better than that. You didn't. And I'm just like, yo, what's up? Like, where's the support? That was average. Great was she going to work when I'm working on becoming a motivational speaker. She's going to work every day. So she's supporting you. You got health insurance because she has health insurance. She got a 401k. She's built up a bank account. She got a phenomenal credit score and got us a house with her credit score. You understand what I'm saying? But when I was average, it was like, you're not doing what I want you to do. But when I became great, I realized, I already got 40 people that just said that was a phenomenal message. You don't get better by people telling you what you did right. You get better by watching the film. You get better by critiquing yourself. So here's a person who's brave enough to critique me because somebody else might have thought the same thing, but they weren't going to say nothing to me about it. You know what I'm saying? So just looking at the situation like, don't look at it. Average people look at, what it is. They don't critical think. They don't analyze. They don't unpack. You know what I'm saying? Like they just see that's blue and not go deeper into, well, actually, that could be whatever it is, yellow and purple, whatever colors make blue. Like, this is what this really is. So for me, average, taking everything as it was, victim, phenomenal, victor, and seeing possibilities, seeing beyond, what's surface. That to me, that's one of the characteristics that determine a person who's average versus somebody who's great.
I love that. Another thing that I'll share a little bit more about it, but your process of getting to where you are, and getting the bachelor's degree, was it 12 years? Yeah. And I can identify with that, man. It took me like 7, and it was because, when I went to school, I'm mostly A student, but I kept getting into trouble. I got kicked out. I literally got kicked out of college for fighting. It's like, who does that? Wow. And, when you take a semester off, it turns into more. And then also I did I come in with 9, but I keep dropping classes because I'm not showing up doing the work. I'll still have bad dreams about this, even a couple years ago, just like, man, my biology, man. And, but so I can identify with that. But you went from that to a PhD and maybe, struggles in school, but you have a best-selling book now. So what was the drive specifically with using that medium? Like how much does that matter to you? Do you even think about how powerful that is that you actually have a best-selling book and you were somebody that was like, dropped out of high school?
Yeah. For me, I had to be honest with myself, Shawn, and say that I have a gift, and there are things that, now people have to understand, I think we all have something that we're good at and we need to work at it. But there's some things, let's just be honest, that may be natural for you. So speaking is natural for me. Speaking the King's English, you understand what I'm saying? And then understanding the culture that we live in, because I think a lot of it is cultural. Like somebody might say they're dumb. You're not dumb. If you were in another culture, a culture that was an art culture, and you were in the art, you blow up. You just live in America, and there's certain things, and culturally, and the timing that we're in, art was something. I remember coming up as a kid, art was like phenomenal. Like you can spend $20,000, $30,000 on a piece of art. I don't know with technology now, because people have Photoshops and things of that nature. Art is not what it was, 30 years ago. So I realized, you got a gift, but culturally, you are a part of the minority. You're not a part of the majority. So if you're going to dominate in the speaking arena, then everything you've learned from Detroit, that's not majority, that's minority. So you're gonna have to go to college now to understand majority, because you're competing against, like the individual you're competing against, they don't come from Detroit. They don't use that slang or that language. So you have to become a lot more linear in your thinking, and I'll never be, I'll never be what some people are. But I knew you need a master's and a PhD so that you have a clear understanding of the game. You feel me? Like you right now, ET, you on, and no disrespect, you might be like &1 basketball. You might be like Globetrotter basketball. You know what I'm saying? You need to get NBA. Then after NBA, Shawn, European, because European basketball is on a whole nother level in terms of fundamentals. And so I had a gift, but I was like, in the culture, I don't have the skills or the tools to be able to dominate in this industry. So I need to go to school, because by getting a master's and a PhD, and you'll see none of them hanging on my wall, which is nothing wrong with if a person accomplished them, but I wasn't doing it for that. I needed to know the language. So every master's class, I was picking up the language, the codes, the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like I was picking up, how do you tell stories? When do you start and when do you stop? Because what you do at a church is not what you do for corporate America. And if I'm gonna dominate in corporate America, I need to understand the language. So for me, every teacher for me was giving away, they were giving away the clues. Every presentation they were put together, I'm like, there go the clues. Like, this is what I need to do. I need to make a statement, and then I need to have empirical evidence. I need to have data to back that up. You feel what I'm saying? And so you can do the passion boy, but the passion is not gonna make you the money you wanna make. It's not gonna give you the influence you need. So for me, school was, I need to go pick up the patterns. I need to learn the patterns of this culture and for this time. And I went and did that and made it happen. So that's why I'm saying, like, for each person, you have to be careful. What are you going to school for? What are your goals? So it was easy to, not easy, meaning the coursework, but the why was given when I realized, I'm gonna blow this company up if I go get this PhD and learn all of this stuff. If I don't, even my staff, they're gonna be limited to me, &1. You look at a LeBron, he can go anywhere he wants right now. You know what I'm saying? He can go to any team. Once his contract is over, he can play for anybody. But there's another guy playing, he can't go, let's just say maybe a Carmelo, who's a good player, but he can't necessarily go to any team he wants to go to. And I was like, I will not serve my company well if I'm limited in any way. So this PhD is gonna put me in a position where, man, we'll be able to dominate the industry.
Man, I didn't even think about that, man. That's like, wow, that's really powerful to even have that perspective, and it's still, it just opened doors. You know, that's what you use it for. Where there's like, for other folks, and there's nothing wrong with this, but it's like, that's the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? I have this, and like my world revolves around it. And so I just want to point our attention to the fact that, you know, these different degrees and certifications, this doesn't indicate greatness, all right? So there are many paths to your goal, and he knows this intimately, but we're also working on some things that you guys can get involved with to get the best training, because it's really about, it's about your ability to serve. It's about your ability to communicate, right? And your style, your unique style, quirky style, weird style, all of those things can play into your favor, you know? And so, and actually, man, I just listened to your audio book, you know, and I didn't even know you had an audio book until I knew I was coming up here, so I was checking it out. And so audio books, this is a great tool for everybody to get involved with, and helping you to be a better you, especially going into this new year. I think that you really need to get on that platform because, you know, we're all trying to assimilate this knowledge. Podcasts are amazing, obviously, but this is another tool that you can get some education. And so whether you want to get healthier, feel motivated, you can try these different audiobooks, and you can also get E's audiobook, and I'm going to tell you how to get it for free. He don't even know this probably, but you can get it for free, and or you can get my best-selling book, Sleep Smarter, for free as well. And this is through Audible. This is through Audible, who helps you to listen to more books by letting you switch seamlessly between your devices. This is what I love about Audible, is that if I'm listening on my phone, or if I pop over to my computer, it's like it knows where to start and stop, and I can pick up anywhere. Amazon Echo, so you can get it all through that. And by the way, he's an award nominee for his audiobook.
I think Dolly Parton beat me.
Hey, what can you say? What can you say? And also, now here's the thing, your membership credits that you get each month, they roll over. So you accumulate them if you happen to not use them by getting yourself another audiobook, because you get one free each month. And plus your books are yours to keep. And by the way, if you don't like a book, you can tell them like, I don't want the book, and they'll give you your credit back. And so what I want you to do, you get a 30-day free trial, free, okay? My favorite price, all right, is 30-day free trial and your first audiobook for free, which I encourage you to pick up E's book, The Secret to Success. You're gonna love it. I had no idea that it was that good. So go to audible.com/model, all right? That's audible.com/model. Free 30-day trial, free audiobook, and keep the membership because it's just awesome. I use it and I love getting that credit each month. I see it show up, I grab myself an audiobook. Or right now you can text, all right? Text to 500-500, all right? Text to 500-500 the word model, all right? And you can access that free 30-day trial that way as well. All right, so again, audible.com/model, or text to 500-500 the word model and get the hookup. All right, and so something else I want to talk to you about is what's next for you. You know what I'm saying? I know that you've been talking to me, you know, before the show, just a little bit about as you're growing older, just your perspective changing, and like not having time for, you know, just a lot of BS, getting right to the point, getting right to the message. And, you know, I think you're distilling things down and focusing on smaller groups. Is that correct? Or like, what's the mission moving forward?
Well, I mean, one of the missions moving forward for me, and just give me a quick second, but yo necesito un profesor, which means, you know, I definitely need a professor, but, you know, at the end of the day, pero del dia, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I got one as bad as I want to breathe. Tengo que lo erlo. So the next thing for me, you know, is Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like, going to school was good with the PhD, but now I feel like that structural piece, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to have to turn papers in, be in somebody's class from, you know, 5 to 10, but I still need to learn. So for me right now, it's learning languages, because I feel like when I'm talking to people who don't speak English, I feel like, man, like we human. How is it that humans, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Jo habla, you know what I'm saying? We can't speak to each other. We can't talk. Like I don't understand you. You know what I'm saying? Like we human. Like, but the one thing that's keeping me, the one barrier, you know what I'm saying? So for a long time, you know, Spanish was theory for me. I talked about it, you know, no es teorio, but now it's alive. Está vivo. You know what I'm saying? It's alive now. It's like something like every single, you know, todos los días, like every day, you know, I'm doing it. I'm reading, you know, yo leo, I'm writing, yo escribo, I'm listening, yo escucho. So that's what's next for me. Is like in a year or 2 years, like mastering language, not Spanish, but mastering language as a whole, you know. And so that's for me. Like I want to travel. Like we've traveled the world, but like I've been to, you know, San Juan. We've been to the Dominican Republic, and I'm there. And it's just like, yo, you can't communicate, you know. So that's really what's next for me in terms of the community. I think that's us. I think C, Carl, myself, ETA, we realize now that we have a tribe. Like we're not out here just putting out information anymore. There are a group of people who speak our language, a group of people who we're responsible for, and now having you here, it's like it's time to take it to the next level, because we don't have everything for the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm passionate about professional development, but I'm just getting passionate about health because of, you know, our communications and what's going on with Didi. That's not my thing. You know, Rob with finances, like I understand how important money is, but for me personally, it's like I want a gift of language. I want to be able to speak. Like we had this one guy that was a part of Michigan State. He was running with us once. He was from Africa. This dude spoke 7 languages. And it was like, yo, how do you do that? Because he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Joe Quieto, he wanted to learn. You know what I'm saying? Aprender. He wanted to learn. And I'm like, yo, E, you got to get there. So, and I'm going to be honest, you know, Shawn, for a lot of people out there who are listening, I don't think it's difficult for us to do things. I think the process of being stripped, I know for me, the hardest part about Spanish was like, yo, I speak well. Like, that's what I do. And to learn the language, like, it's embarrassing to try and you're not on that level. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to speak to people who speak a language and you don't really, and I just remember the first part of just saying like, yo, which one do you want more? To actually be fluent one day or not to be embarrassed? Like which one? Not to be vulnerable. Which one? And so I can say from 2000, when I first took classes to now, it was more not wanting to be vulnerable because I didn't learn the language. Whereas my 100-day challenge, I'm gonna be honest, the health one, that was about 82, 83%. Like I did it probably about, out of 100 days, about 80 straight days. I mean, 80 days. The Spanish, 100 straight days. And got better in terms of like did more, you know what I'm saying? So for me, man, it's just like, there are those of you out there who you listen to Shawn, you know it's right, you wanna do it, but there's some other things that you don't wanna do more than the things that you wanna do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, whether that's spending money on food, whether that's getting up early and working out, whatever it is, like you really do want to lose weight or you really do, because I'm not into weight right now, I'm into wellness. There are those of you who want to be well, but there's some other things that are just as high on your priority list as maybe sleep. I want to sleep more, you know what I'm saying? I want to watch more TV. I don't know what it is that's stopping you from getting on that treadmill or taking Organifi. I mean, we just talked. I just told you like, yo, for real, for me, it's difficult for me when it comes to supplements to do something every day. Like that's just challenging. But at the end of the day, Shawn, that's an excuse. If I put a strong enough why to it, because I got a PhD. So taking supplements every day, that can't be that deep. You know what I'm saying? But I got to really ask myself, yo, E, what is it about it? Do you feel like you don't really need them? You're doing good without it, and you'll wait till you feel like you need it to do it? So I just want to make sure I speak to the people and say, like, yo, there are things that we all say we want to do, but there's something, that barrier that's deeper than the thing at the end that you got to push through to get to that. So I'm no longer afraid of, when I meet people, there used to be a time where, my wife would be like, yo, they don't speak English at the hotel. Like, what? And I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? She's like, you've been studying, don't try. I'm like, I know it's not gonna be right. And she's like, I know it's not, but maybe it'll be right on the 1,000th try. But if you don't do the first try, of course it ain't gonna be right. But if you do the first try, and then the second try and the third try, by the fourth try, so now I can at least have a decent conversation and let them know to the extent that I have to stop. And then I don't feel bad because it's like, yo, you're not even trying to, like, you're not trying to learn English. So at least you're trying, you know. So I would just say to people, man, for real, don't let that, whatever that fear or anxiety is, stop you from getting to that next level.
Man, I had no idea you was gonna say this and break out the Despacito. Man.
Yeah,
That was
no
amazing.
question.
So because I remember at the start, and people are like, what is this 100-day challenge? This is a part of our Breathe You University.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just assuming
hey,
that.
No.
Everybody
This is
knows.
people need to know about this now. So right now, even we're in the midst of a 30-day challenge, a fitness fat loss challenge that we're all doing collectively. So guys, make sure to go to breatheuniversity.com and get involved with this community. And I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about what people can find there, but it's just gonna be a game changer for you. I'm telling you, to be a part of this growing community. So we did a 100-day challenge leading up to the holiday, and your challenge for you was to work on Spanish every day. And it just like popped out right now because of the execution, like making that a part of your curriculum for that 100 days and having the accountability. Every time we talked, I heard about, you guys was checking in with each other, and I was doing my thing as well. I broke my rib along the way, you know what I'm saying? But I've been on my task as well, which is working on my mobility. And so, but Breathe You. So right now, guys, again, if you jump in now, you're still gonna get access. And I'm here recording courses.
Yeah, right here in Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah, we're doing. We got a nutrition 101 course, foundational, everything masterclass on all the foundational pieces. And a lot of times that's what we need. It's the fundamentals. That's what creates championships. It's not like the extraordinary, this thing over here. Like, you can grab those things when you have the fundamentals down. And so we did that. It's going to be a sleep masterclass, the exercise and training, social intelligence, all kinds of good stuff for you guys. And so you've got in there exclusive events, right, that recorded your live events and speaking, which are just out of this world, and courses that you designed specifically for the family in Breathe You. And it really is a family. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys have got and built already in Breathe You.
So, when people ask me like, yo, what is it, E? To me, man, it's not theory. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, it's alive. That's why I said, está vivo. Está vivo, it's alive. You know what I'm saying? And what do you mean by that, E? It's not your make money. Like, this is like, it's alive. And one of the things, Shawn, you and I talked about it, it's a guy named Charlie that, I've been talking to, because Charlie went on the vegan. He had a tumor, and so he had to make some changes in his diet. Me and Carl have been talking about it. Yo, I'm learning now through my cousin, it's not about vegan, but what she's showing me is like, these foods are alive. Like when you talk about the kale, like, yo, E, that's going in your body, and it's helping to bring like life to your body. Whereas you just Snicker bar, you know what I'm saying? You eating a Snicker bar, I ain't trying to be funny, but there's nothing about, that artificial stuff that's bringing my body to life. So when you come to Be You, bro, it's about life. If your relationships aren't healthy, we're about to teach you how to like bring those relationships to life, bring your marriage to life. Not just you and your wife are in the same space. Y'all got the same last name. Y'all got rings on. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all pay bills together. Like, we want you to go from glorified roommates to like life. Like when y'all touch each other, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, she come in and smile. You like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Just like we were playing Uno yesterday, me and my wife and my daughter, bro. And it was like, you would have thought we were in the Bahamas, on a cruise. Like, it's the best of five. My wife is like, okay, well, if I won the first one, why are we playing elimination? Because I'm like, yo, I want to see that you could really, really win. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the house was alive. So for us, it's alive. It's like, stop just going to work. We want you to learn how to take your money and make your money add value to your life. Like, stop just buying what the Joneses are buying and trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, you have a life. You have your own DNA. You have your own makeup. So for us, it's about life. So Shawn, when you do your thing for our community, it's not going to be about lose 20 pounds for the high school reunion and gain 30 after it's over. Right. We're gonna teach you how to be well, how to live, how to make this a part of your everyday experiences. So that's what it's all about. You're gonna come and get that motivation, that energy from me. You're gonna come get knowledge from, different individuals who've actually lived it. Like everything again we're giving you is lived. It's not a book. Is it a book? I'm sure we wrote some stuff down, but it's from our real lived, experiences. So that's what you can find, breatheyou.com. So any area of your life, you'll hear me talk about Jalen. You'll hear me talk about the struggles of being a parent and thinking that, it's just like you raise them this way and boom, everything is just gonna fall into place, and it doesn't work like that. He's a real kid who's going through real life with real challenges, and I'm a real father for the first time who didn't have his father in his life. Nobody gave me a manual. So you're gonna learn, man, for real, life, how to get through life and how to live life at the fullest. And like Carl said, in one of our podcasts, not being one of those birds that's just barely flying, because when you barely flying, boom, you get hit by a car, but being that eagle that soars so high that nothing is up there, nothing can stop it because nothing else is up there. And we want you to live that kind of life, man.
Man, that's such a great analogy that Carl dropped too, man. About the bird flying past your window. It's like all of this space for you.
All of it.
And when he said that, I was thinking about, and Carl's back there watching right now, but I was thinking about how, we think it's safe if we stay close to the ground, right? But it's really more dangerous.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just like that glass ceiling. And just our belief in us really getting up there and flying. And, I got to tell you this, guys, and of course, a lot of folks listening, our family here at the Model Health Show are aware, college educated, going through different courses, programs, this kind of thing. And some folks, that wasn't a path, but I can tell you this straight out. There was no success 101 in my conventional university. They did not teach me how to actually build a great life. In my relationships, in my finances, in my career, none of it. There's this basic training on these different fields of education, right? Educo, which means to learn from within, right? We weren't really taught that. How do you actually learn how to learn? That's another thing that I was not privy to, and I think it's a great experience, the social development and, the relationships that are built.
No question.
But actually, you turning your passion into your life, you need to learn from the best people in the world. And I truly believe that Eric is by far one of the best people in the world, and Breathe You is just, it's unbelievable how much value that you have in that program. Like when Carl got me in and I see all the courses and the quality, and there's a lot, it's mainly video training, guys, so you get access to this kind of thing. And if you see E stuff online, the Instagram clips, and it's phenomenal. This is times 100, all right? And plus, us all working together as a team.
That's what makes it phenomenal. I'm saying, no, that's what makes it phenomenal. And that it's like a dream team. It's a dream team. And here's the thing I have not spoken about yet. I don't even know, because how these guys are, they like to have their stuff together first. They like, he just be saying stuff, we don't got it together. But one of the things, Shawn, that I'm going to really teach people this year, you and I have talked about DD, and MS, and just the brain and what you need to do, in terms of saturated fats and, things you need to do for the brain, things, that you need to eat to stimulate the brain and just really bring that health to the brain. Because a lot of people, like you said, they always think it's the gut, et cetera, like building your chest out. But you're like, that brain is I think, Shawn, when you look at birth, you look at animals are born with fangs right off the cuff to protect themselves. You look at claws. Humans, no human is born with that. And let's just be honest, the average human doesn't really get to the point of strength till they really in their late teens. Like you're not 5 years old bench pressing 150. So what is the thing that God has given us to protect ourselves? It's the brain to me. It's the brain. Like that's the one thing we have that other creatures don't have that allows us to really, be progressive. And so what I'm going to teach, as you were talking about Didi and her brain with MS and some of the things she can do to get healthy, bro, I'm taking it back to the imagination. Like, Shawn, ain't nobody on that no more. Nobody's talking about the brain and what the brain can actually do. Like when you talk about meditation, a lot of people just hear it from oh, I'm gonna meditate to rest, to rejuvenate. No. I want you to learn how to use the brain to create things that don't even exist, because that's the power we have. When you look at Walt Disney, like Walt Disney was teaching us, like, yo, the brain, you look at Disney World, like he got people coming from France and Germany and Italy and Africa, Spain, all over the world to come to Disney World. And when you finish in Disney World, you're like, what in the world? And while we have a lot of things, there's not a lot of things that have topped Disneyland and Disney World. So one of the things I'm gonna teach this year is like, yo, you can use your brain to fix some of the problems that you have in your life. You can use your brain to fix your marriage. You can use your brain to fix you can use your brain to get a bigger house. I'll never forget when I told people I was moving to Cali, how you wanna have a house and a church here, and you're not using your brain. Like, what do you mean? How I'm not gonna be the only person that has properties all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I won't be the first. But if you're not using your imagination, you can't do that. So one of the things, man, I want to teach this year is you have one of the most powerful tools. Yeah, the computer's great. Your cell phone is great. But man, your mind it could get you from being homeless and a high school dropout to where I am right now. So we're going to do some brain training this year. Yeah. We're going to do some brain training.
Man, and I want to reiterate this, that it's called Breathe University. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is the real university that we need to get access to create the life.
Oxygen. You said oxygen is important.
Yeah. Oh man, number one nutrient. Yes, sir. Take the breath. And I bet everybody's attention is going to their breathing right now. And so, little sidebar, your breathing is part of your autonomic nervous system, right? Which means basically automatics, tied in with your heart, your digestion. You don't want the responsibility of beating your heart,
right?
All right, because I would have died a long time ago, or digesting your food.
Right.
And your breathing is the same thing. But what's so interesting is that our creative force has designed us so that we can jump in and grab the wheel on our breathing whenever we think about it. And it's like, why would it do that? Why we have that capacity? It's because our breathing controls our perception, right? Shallow breathing is tied into stress. It's tied into weakened perception of solution, right? It's tied into fear. And we can change that by simply changing our breathing. And we can jump in because, historically we might be walking along, with the family and something scares us and it's a stick, but we think it's a snake. And if we don't change our breathing pattern, we can carry that stress with us for hours afterwards. So it's a way to calm everything down, get back to more quote reality and to perceive things correctly.
It's a stick.
Yeah.
It's a stick.
False alarm.
Yeah, it's a stick. Yeah.
So yeah, man. When I asked you what you had coming up this year, what you were excited about, I had no idea you jumped to the language. That's really still sticking with me, and just being able to communicate and having that drive. And I want to point something else out because how old are you right now?
47.
47, and he's learning languages. Like there's no barrier. There's no like I'm too old, I'm too young. We have to stop thinking like that, use these things as an advantage, because with his experience, because that's what he can look at it as. I'm experienced, so I could make a decision and decipher what works better, right off the bat. And also I know about what it takes, right? Whereas with youth, we got all of this extra energy and you can make more mistakes and, it just really depends on your perception. So what advice would you give somebody, again, they're up against those barriers, because, and I really want to kind of end on this point because it's so important that I know people go through challenges. I just went through one with my rib, right? I was like, oh, I'm good. I got this photo shoot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And life was like, nope, you got other plans. And I realized that there was a lesson in it for me. So when people come up against those barriers in life, they're going on a good track, everything is going well, and something breaks down. What do we need to do in that moment?
Well, you need to understand the process. We talked about this before, but the process to create greatness, or the process, let's make it, practical. We talked about a diamond before. The process of creating a diamond is that it has to go through immense pressure. I'm talking about, man, a great deal of pressure, right? It has to go through fire, and then it has to be cut. And it is the cut of the diamond that actually gives it its value. So what we have to be cautious of when we create a diamond, we just want to go through life and think that more diamonds are going to be created without going through that process again. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep going through that exact process to create a diamond. So for me, the thing that I'm loving about learning Spanish is it's put me in touch again with being vulnerable in a way that success is not, you know? And so let me give you an example of what I mean. I spoke somewhere recently and I could feel the vulnerability of Spanish coming out when I was talking. So when I was talking about like, yo, we gotta be vulnerable. Like, yo, you gotta be willing to be broken. I was speaking from doing Spanish and being broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, saying a word to somebody like, nope, that's not right. Okay, say it again. Okay, I say it again, my boy Jorge. And I'm saying it with him. He like, okay, E, I like the R's. You roll your R's, but the U's, you still doing you like it's English, you know? And it's just like going back and forth and back and forth. And man, I literally had a dream in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? And I woke up like, yo, I'm getting there. Like, I'm dreaming in Spanish. Then the other day I wrote but I wrote perro. So I wrote but in Spanish, but I was saying it, I was writing in English, and I was like, ooh, small win. I'm thinking in this, you know, language. So for me, it's saying, E, I know you don't want to be vulnerable. I'm just being real. I don't want to be vulnerable. Like I don't want to go through what I went through when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But as I'm going through this language, it's teaching me things that I don't know is making me familiar with my weakness. But here's the thing. Once I learn Spanish fluently, do you understand the worlds that will be open for me and the individuals that I'll be able to be a blessing to? Like low key, somebody was asking me yesterday, Nikki, she's my accountability partner. Like, yo, I didn't get your stuff. And I was like, I'm at church, I'm doing my thing, but I'm still practicing. She's like, what are you doing today before you do your actual studying? And I was listening to La Flora, which is like you know, the flower with Selena. You know what I'm saying? So I was listening to Selena's music and becoming familiar. I was like, I want to do Selena because I know she was like a Tupac. You know what I'm saying? She was like a, what's her name? My wife is going to kill me. Come on, E. I can't think of her name. A popular black artist. She died at a very young age.
Not Whitney.
Whitney Houston. So yeah, Whitney Houston. So Selena's like a Whitney Houston in her culture. So you're not just learning the language, you're learning about the culture, somebody in the culture, you know? And so I'm watching Selena on video and listening, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be able to, and you should just see, you should see Selena, and she's saying buenas noches, but you see her saying it, adios, you know, but you could feel her, you know, saying it, hasta luego, but it wasn't like on the app, like you seeing her to her fans, hasta luego, you know what I'm saying? Adios, gracias, you know, and she doing her thing to her audience, and I feel the audience, you know, doing their thing, and I'm just like, wow, you know, so, you know, for me, man, you know, going through the fire, going through the immense, you know, pressure, getting cut, it never feels good. And I'm not gonna lie to you and sit here and be like, yo, this the 20th time I've been cut like a diamond, and it feels great. It does not feel great. It's not a great feeling. But I know every single time, immense pressure, extreme heat, cut, diamond. Every time. There's no way to get a diamond without going through that process. And so I think the one cool thing though about it, Shawn, is that I'm putting myself through it this time. There have been times when I was younger and I fought it and I felt like the Creator had to make me go through it. Now I'm saying, E, just go ahead. You can make it a little simpler by just going ahead and doing it yourself. So for me, language is the thing that I'm doing to go through that process. I was saying to anybody that's going through it, all you're doing is recreating another diamond for yourself. You're adding value to yourself. So when you go, CJ called me about the business. And one of the things that I'm doing this year too, guys, I want you to be careful. I'm talking about the diamond process differently. And so he called me and was like, okay, we're going into the new year. Because last year, and I was like, praise God for last year. Because had we did everything right last year, some of the people that are coming on to the company may not have come on to the company. So it was the actual challenge of the company that you've been asking them forever to come. And they like, nope, I'm not coming. I'm not interested. But now that there's a challenge with their name on it, they're like, yo, where do I sign up? I'm ready. So I'm saying, yo, I see it as a blessing Because had everything gone according to plan, we would have had Durant on the squad. You know what I'm saying? Based on what happened, we just put Durant on the squad, and I'm already knowing that we're going to be 10 times better with Durant being on. Are you not hearing me? Had Golden State won, they may not have added Durant, but it was the loss that added Durant. So had they won, they might not have added Durant and then end up losing consecutively. But by losing once and adding Durant, you might have just added 2-3 more championships in a row. So I'm looking at the diamond process differently, and I'm not looking at I broke my rib. I'm looking at my current success got interrupted so I can get to my next level of success. That's how I'm looking at it these days.
Oh, man, I love it so much, man. Final question.
Yeah.
What is the model that you're setting with the way that you live your life personally? What is the example that you're setting for the rest of us with how you live in your life personally?
You know that, Shawn, I think for me it's character. Like all the other stuff is great, but have something that you live for beyond the money, because we all die, whether we want to hear that or not, we all die. And what we leave behind is our legacy. And so we lost some great, artists per se that we don't really talk about, but we still talk about Mother Teresa, because Mother Teresa had a philosophy that she lived by, and she actually walked that philosophy as much as she could to prove to the world that it is possible to live by something. And when C used to tell me when he first hooked up with me, it's like, yo, E, I feel like some of the stuff you're doing is an extreme, and absolutely, in this culture it is. But now, Shawn, with some of the stuff we're seeing on TV, C was like, oh, okay, E, you was talking about that before it was popular, and I'm seeing how people have been great in one area, but because they compartmentalized it and they didn't really focus on this area, they're being asked to step down from some stuff that they're great at. You know what I'm saying? They're great at that. They're phenomenal at that art form, but some of their personal, life challenges or areas that they didn't get strong in their character, now they're being asked to step down because their character don't match their talent. And all I'm saying is, I don't want to just get there, Shawn. I want to stay there. I don't want to just be married. I want Diddy to be the only one. I don't want to have to do marriage 3 or 4 times. I don't want to not have a healthy relationship with my children and my grandchildren. I don't want you to say, yo, ETA, y'all are killing it, but 4 years from now, man, they just fell off the map. I don't want that, Shawn. I want to have this for as long as I live. And I feel the only way to do it is to have something you stand for, and you're not perfect, and you're not always gonna make the right decisions. You're not always gonna do the right thing, but try your hardest to live up to that and not just be free fall. And I told my son the other day, I was like, yo, son, I can't give you my playbook, but I am asking you, have some boundaries. Like, have some, have some stuff that you say, I'm not gonna go this far. I said, you ain't gotta be your father. I never drank or smoked. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm saying have some, I don't drink during working hours. You know what I'm saying? I only drink on the weekend, you know what I'm saying? And I don't drink to the point where I can't drive home, or I don't drink to the point where I had a cousin who got drunk, crazy Shawn, Chicago, teacher, hit a trash can drunk. Trash can flew up some kind of way, hit a older lady and killed her. And he spent like 4 or 5 years in prison, and of course lost his license to teach. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I know that's, you feel like it can't happen to you, but I'm saying there's nothing wrong with him drinking, but maybe you shouldn't have had a drink and drove. Maybe you should have drank and then had Uber back then, but maybe had a taxi pick you up. So I just told my son, like, yo, you can't be your father, but what do you live by? What do you live by? What's important to you? Know what it is, and then just do me a favor. Never compromise on the standards that you say you believe. And that's what I want to live. That's what I want to leave, is that success, Shawn, does not necessarily mean a $2 million house. It don't mean you're not successful because you have a $2 million house. It doesn't mean that having a car is success. What do you define it as? And then are you waking up every single day? Because if it's money, Shawn, Mother Teresa wasn't successful. You know what I'm saying? If it's a car, Dr. Martin Luther King, he missed the mark. You know what I'm saying? These people weren't successful. Gandhi, when he died, he had 8 pieces of articles, clothing. That's all he had, and some glasses, and his or whatever his biblical truth was. And so I'm saying to people, like, have something deeper than clothes and surface and stuff. Have something that can outlast you and that you can pass on to others and help make other people's lives better.
Amazing, amazing. E, can you let everybody know where they can connect with you online, website, all that good stuff?
I want to get this right because Carl and them the one that do this, but I'm going to try to get this right. Of course, breatheuniversity.com is where you can go to be a part of our community. And then, of course, you have etinspires.com, which I think is all access, ETA. But for those of you who are on like Instagram and all that, ET the Hip Hop Preacher, go to Instagram. YouTube, I think, is Eric Thomas. You know what I'm saying? So just go etinspires.com. You can find our app. You can go get our app online. I forget to talk about the app, but the app is on Apple. I'm sure it's on market for Android. But etinspires.com is all access, ETA. Man, appreciate you, man. Yeah, appreciate the relationship. It's great going on the show once or twice before. Great seeing you in an event, but more importantly, man, great having you at the house. Great meeting your family. And I look forward to us, for real, the dream team, changing lives together, man.
No doubt, man.
I know I can do more with you than I can do without you.
Oh, man, I hear you. I feel the same way. I'm excited. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. This is one of my inspirations. And please understand, again, there's no success 101 taught in school. All right, we have to get ourselves around individuals who are doing the things that we want to do and bringing on the top people in their respective fields and delivering them for you. All right, so, and I just want to reiterate something he said, which again, I had no idea he was going to say this, but being willing to be vulnerable. All right, being willing to be vulnerable. That can be a little bit of oxymoron in a way, especially for a lot of men. Vulnerability is seen as a weakness, like some kind of way we perceive it as that, but it really opens us up for greatness. Be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to be great. Having that willingness, I think, is one of the most important qualities, to try new things and not be great at them at first, but sticking with it. All right, that stick with ability is something that you cultivate simply by taking action and getting involved and being willing to be vulnerable. All right, be willing to be wrong. All right, I think one of the things that holds us back is we're constantly trying to find a way to be right, and we ruin relationships like that. We ruin our finances like that. We ruin our health like that. If this diet isn't working, stop. All right, we have to be willing to say, you know what, this is not. I'm wrong. I'm doing this cereal diet. This Lucky Charms diet. This guy said it works, and it's not working,
But it tastes good, though.
My kneecaps and turn into marshmallows, So be willing to be wrong and to start something else, being vulnerable. All right, guys, I appreciate you immensely again. Check out breatheuniversity.com like yesterday. Become a part of this community. It's going to change a lot of lives, and it's going to grow in a big, big way, but I want you to be a part of it. All right, we got some really cool stuff coming up and great guests coming up on the show, great show topics, so make sure to stay tuned. We got a big year ahead. I appreciate you immensely. Take care, have an amazing day, and I'll talk with you soon.